Hello, Flames of War fans. Mark here in sunny Southern California in the summertime. And what I've got here, I have not done a battle report in a long time. It's been very busy with work. But here I am. It's summertime, and I have the Battle of Stalingrad, or at least one of the places in Stalingrad. So let me give you the gist. This mission is called the Boulevard, and essentially the entire board, it's rubble. We have two buildings here. These are scratch built. It's okay, that works. And I've got Russians versus Germans. Okay, the Germans are defending this building here. They have a Grenadier platoon that have two heavy machine guns attached to it. The Russians have put an objective in that room down here. The Russians, defended by a rifle company, a hero rifle company, with the German objective inside here in this four-room spectacular. They are deployed here. What you see here, those are rubble markers, even though the entire building, the entire table is rubble. So it does provide bullet cover and concealment. So let's take a quick look at what the forces look like. Well, let's start with the Germans, because they're definitely the closest to me. I have here my Grenadier platoon here, along with two heavy machine guns attached to it. So that's the blue platoon. Here I have 481mm mortars. Now, I don't use, well, we don't use the commander for 4th edition rules. I do like to use it to tell who is the commanding unit, okay, which is the command stand. Here I've got two short-barreled 75mm infantry guns. Point blank, right into the buildings. No mercy, no holds barred. This is my commander and second in command. Over here I have a Grenadier platoon with the red platoon with two heavy machine guns attached. This is a smaller platoon, whereas the white platoon here, which it also has two heavy machine guns attached, that's full strength, that's full strength, that's not quite full strength. But in the process, I got some onboard artillery to play with. If I look at the other side for the Russians here, okay, I have obviously bigger companies. So here I have the white rifle company with the white stripes. They have a flamethrower attached. They have two Maxim heavy machine guns attached. Got the Commissar here with this blue cap. That one is pretty obvious. Okay, well, to me, maybe not to the camera lens. Over here I have the red hero rifle company put together. They also have no heavy machine guns attached. Wait a second. Well, yeah, they don't have any heavy machine guns attached to them. Now, over here in the brown, this is my Hero SMG company, along with the Commissar here with the blue backing, and then their commander. Okay, over here, this is my what you would call my storm troop. Okay, and in that storm troop they have two HMGs attached. They have, these are the guys in white. This is their commander. I have the anti-tank rifles here and the 50mm mortar, again, ready to go and assault this building. Okay, so objective of the game. Both sides. The Russians are attacking, Germans are defending. But the Germans can take this objective here, the Russians need to take this objective here, or break the army. At this point now, what's going to happen? This is a little bit different viewpoint. I'm kind of doing the bird's eye view of this fight. So, with that, we're going to proceed to Russian turn 1. Russian turn 1, take 2. I made a mistake in the first turn. I forgot to take into account that the Germans would be gone to ground. So, let's see what's happening. The Russian Red Rifle Company moved forward here. They tried to shoot at the infantry guns. They couldn't do it. You need 6s to hit. Okay, they're still within 16. And through the cover that they have, and then the fact that they are gone to ground 4, 5, 6. I had these Russian machine guns and these Russian guys here fire on them as well. I did get hits, but the guns were able to shrug those off. Not quite the end of the world for the Russian player. I mean, if they could get them pinned, it would be nice. Now the Storm Group has decided to pull forward, and these guys are within the 4 inches with their SMGs. You got an awful lot of firepower going there. Here I also had the flamethrower. Rolled for everything, even rolled for the 50mm mortars. Everybody missed. Everyone missed. What a disappointing break for the Russians. They may possibly be paying for this in the next turn. We will see, as this is the end of Russian turn 1. And we're moving on to German turn 1. Alright, Battlefront fans, welcome back for, I'm going to combine turn 2 overall here, because so much happened. So, for the Russians, this group, the Red Rifle Company, was coming up to here to engage the Germans in close combat. The Germans here fired on them, pinned them down. Then in German turn 2, the blue platoon went and attacked them. Did a little bit of hurt, and these guys retreated away. These guys were trying to fire on here. It was ineffective. The infantry guns here fired directly into there. They hurt, not much. But remember, the idea is to accumulate the number of hits, because ultimately these mortars lobbed on here resulted in the loss of 1 stand and pinned this group and made them pretty ineffective in that regards, while the blue platoon moved forward here and took those guys out. But if we're looking at the main action, the real action, the central point is what happened here in the factory. The Russian Storm Group was able to come in, not only pin those guys down with the help of the machine guns here, but they got inside the factory and they were able to take this room right here with the objective in it. That was the Russian Storm Group. Nasty guys, that's what I found. If you're going to have a street fight, you have to have a Storm Group if you are a Russian player. You really need it. Highly recommend it. Now, what did the Germans do? Well, the white platoon had been pretty much munched. There were only like a couple of stands left. One of these guys should be replaced with a commander. But they survived their last stand raiding. And they are in, and they pulled out. They pulled over to here. And the red platoon came in here and here to start blasting away here, which they succeeded in pinning the Storm Group, but when they went in for the kill, took out a couple of stands, but the Storm Group's counterattack with a hit of 2 or greater, that pretty much wasted the red platoon. They're going to have to roll a last stand test the next turn. So right now, this is pretty much the action that's happening. A lot of the action's happening here in this building. The Russians hold on to the objective in this building. That building over there, not a lot's going to be happening here in terms of grabbing an objective. I think the Russians will pretty much hang on to that. This part here on the Russian right flank, these guys need to get their act together really fast because the Germans could bear down on them. But if you look at the blue platoon here, there's not that many guys left, and they've got to rely on the heavy ordnance to do some more damage, which they might do next turn. Who knows? Stay tuned and find out for turn 3. Stay tuned, Flames of War fans. Welcome back, Flames of War fans, as we wrap things up. The end of German Turn 2 saw the Germans hanging on to one corner of this building here, onto this half of the building here, and that was pretty much it. They were stopped here. They couldn't go any further because they were out of range. They could not do any close assaults. Now we're at the top of the turn, Russian 3. And at this point, the Russians started moving forward. Their storm groups here, they were in here. The SMG guys are now moving up to here. These guys stayed. These guys fired, along with all these guys, on the mortar teams there to stop them. It pinned them. That's all that it did. The mortars tried to fire on the 75mm infantry guns. They failed. This is where the action's happening, right here in this building. So the Russians came in from here into here, from here into here, from the outside here into here. And they basically blew away the Germans. They lost a stand in the process, but now this building has been taken completely. I would have continued the game if the Germans could contest the building. They are not going to be able to do it. So this game is over. Thoughts about it? The street fighting is definitely more intense than a regular game of Flames of War. This is really up close, in your face, and a map of 2x3 like they have in the book, I think that would work fine for smaller point forces like I have here. Was about 50 points on each side. But if you're talking about like 100 points, you need to get a bigger map. And the idea of a 4x4, which I have the ability to do 4x4 maps, but it also takes time to go and create these buildings. I created them from scratch. And same thing for the piles of rubble. As well. And that does take a little bit of time, but I think the payoff is worth it for it. If you're interested, you know, tell me. I'll let you know how I did it. And that's it, Flames of War fans. On this day, the Russians won for Stalingrad. За Родину! Ура! Победа! Catch you on the next time, ladies and gentlemen. There'll be more. There will be.